What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It is week 2 of fantasy hockey. So what we're going to be doing today is going over the best and worst schedules, the streamers to add to maximize your games, some new must-add players, some deployment changes, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Before we get into the schedule, I want to shout out Underdog Fantasy. If you guys sign up on there using promo code FIREDUP and you play $5, you get $100 in bonus funds. You guys can use these funds to do pick'ems on the NHL, NFL, and more. There's a Boostober going on, so there's a lot of profit boosts that you can do when you do these pick'ems. You guys can also draft teams throughout the year. There's NHL slates, there's like thousands of people that draft teams, and you can win big prizes. So yeah, make sure you sign up using that code to get those bonus funds. It's available in all of Canada except Ontario, and it's also available in most US states. We also have the same code on Drafters Fantasy Sports, another daily fantasy sports platform. This one's actually available in Ontario, also available in the rest of Canada and most US states. You guys can do pick'ems on here as well as the daily best ball drafts. Very fun to do. And with code FIREDUP, you get a 100% match deposit up to $100. You guys can either download the app and put in Fired Up when you go to sign up, or if you're on desktop, use the link below or put that code in when you're adding funds. All right, let's get into it here. We're looking at the teams with the most off nights. The best teams to stream this week are going to be the Utah Mammoth, the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Detroit Red Wings. These teams have 4 games and 3 off nights, so going to be very solid, going to be easy to maximize your fantasy games. And in terms of the rest here, the Capitals are also a good option too. 3 games and 3 off nights. We also have some teams with 4 games and 2 off nights as well. Those teams being Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Edmonton, and Vancouver. I also want to mention here that the Mammoth have a pretty easy schedule facing Chicago, Calgary, San Jose, and Boston. 3 of those games being at home, which is good. Chicago's schedule's okay. Detroit's pretty hard, playing Toronto, Florida, Tampa Bay, and Edmonton. For the rest here, it's a mix. Minnesota has 2 back-to-backs this week, which isn't great. Tampa and Edmonton, they have all their games being away games, which isn't great either. But these teams can score a lot of goals. So I'm not going to put too much stock into it. We don't really have too much information on which teams are good and bad yet. We have to wait and see in terms of how I do these videos, showing you guys, the schedule record and the goals against average and save percentage of the teams that they're playing. But yeah, for now, just focus on trying to maximize your games. We also have a couple of teams that have 4 games and 1 off night. Not the best in terms of dropping players to pick up these guys to stream, because you're going to have better options in terms of maximizing your games, but still solid nonetheless. Those teams being the Bruins, the Predators, the Senators, the Leafs, and the Panthers. And the last thing here, as you guys can see on the left side of the screen, I have the days here of the week, and when it's red, that means it's a heavy night. So you're going to have to sit players. It's going to be harder to maximize your games. You're not going to be able to pick up players and slot them in those nights. And then if it's green, that means it's an off night. An off night basically means that there's not a lot of games on that night, meaning you can pick up players on teams that play that night and in turn maximize your fantasy points. I always recommend checking your roster though, because even though Monday is considered a heavy night, there's a chance just by the makeup of your team that you might have an open roster spot or so. If that's the case, then the Mammoth, the Blackhawks, and the Red Wings have 4 off nights. So yeah, definitely something you want to take into consideration. Always check your roster throughout the week and see which nights you have open roster spots on. In terms of the least amount of games, thankfully we have no teams that play less than 3 games, but we do have some teams that have 3 games and 0 off nights, which isn't great. Those teams being the Blue Jackets, the Avalanche, the Kings, the Devils, the Islanders, the Flyers, and the Jets. Moving on to streamers, we're going to look at players on teams with good schedules this week in terms of off nights. Probably my favorite here is the Mammoth, because their opponents are pretty easy. Obviously, the staples, the guys that probably shouldn't be available are Clayton Keller, Dylan Guenther, and Mikhail Sergachev. If those guys are available, please take a look and also hold on to them because they should be rostered. But in terms of the rest, we do have some good options here. One thing to highlight is that Barrett Hayton is still injured. There's a chance he does return this week, but we don't have any news on that just yet. He is practicing, but still day-to-day. That's the designation that they have him at. So we'll have to see about that, because when he's healthy, at least in camp, he was line 1 with Keller and power play 1 as a net front guy. So that could be really good if he is healthy. But for the rest here, Logan Cooley, obviously a very talented player in the top 6. He is power play 1 right now with Barrett Hayton injured. So we'll see what happens there, but could be very good if Hayden is still out. Nick Schmaltz, always solid. Line 1 with Keller, power play 1. JJ Peterka, he's okay. Too high roster in my opinion, but he's in the top 6 on power play 2. Sean Dursey, he's a decently, solid deeper league option. And then Jack McBain. This also depends on the status of Barrett Hayden, but right now he's line 1 with Clayton Keller with that injury, and he puts up good peripherals too. Then we have the Blackhawks. Obviously, Bedard probably shouldn't be available, but maybe he might be. For the rest here, Frank Nazar, very solid option, playing very good, has looked very good out there in the top 6, power play 1. Teuvo Teravainen, top 6, power play 1. Bertuzzi, same thing. Burakovsky's power play 2, but he's line 1 with Bedard. Colton Dach is currently line 1 with Bedard. We'll see what happens there because they've been sort of switching him and Donato in the game. Sometimes mid-game they'll switch it up, so that's why Donato is also an okay option too. Puts up good peripherals. And then Sam Renzel, he is currently getting a lot of ice time on power play 1, so he's definitely a solid option as well. For the Red Wings, obviously the top guys, Larkin, DeBrincat, Raymond Sider. If you're in a very shallow league, definitely want to look at those players. But for the rest, we have Patrick Kane in the top 6 on power play 1. Marco Kasper centering that second line, puts up good peripherals. Emmett Finney, who's currently line 1. Simon Evanson for those peripherals if you're in like a category league or something. And then we have some deeper league options like JT Compher, Andrew Kopp, etc. Also with the Capitals having 3 off nights here, Ovechkin, if he is somehow available, he definitely isn't unless you're in like a 4-man league. But we have Dylan Strome, who is currently line 1, power play 1. Tom Wilson in the top 6 in power play 1. Pierre-Luc Dubois in the top 6, power play 1 as well. John Carlson, power play 1. Protas, not power play 1, but he is line 1 with Ovi. Connor McMichael getting some top 6 looks. And then Jacob Chychrun, not currently power play 1, but still a solid option. You guys can also look at a player like Matt Roy for those peripherals and then some of those deeper league options as well. Moving on to the 4 games, 2 off night streamers, the Wild, the Canucks, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Oilers. We are going to start with the Wild and the Canucks here. Joe Eriksson Ek is a very good option in the top 6 on power play 1, good peripherals. Vladimir Tarasenko in the top 6 on power play 1 with Matt Zuccarello out for the next 2 months. Unfortunate for Marco Rossi, who got some power play 1 looks earlier in camp. So yeah, Tarasenko's a solid option, very low roster percentage. Marco Rossi, even though he's no longer power play 1, he is centering the first line with Boldy and Kaprizov, which is pretty valuable. And then if you guys want some peripheral players or deep league options, you can take a look at Marcus Foligno or Ryan Hartman. For the Canucks, Brock Besser, line 1, power play 1. Jake DeBrusk, line 1, power play 1. Evander Kane, line 3. But power play 1, elite shots and hits. And then some deeper league guys like Garland, Hedel, and Jonathan Lekeri-Mackey. For the Oilers and the Lightning, they're pretty top-heavy teams, but there's some interesting options here, especially for the Oilers. Nugent Hopkins, if he's available, top 6 power play 1, has looked pretty good out there. David Tomasek, he's one of my favorite options as well, considering the low roster percentage. Yes, he's currently line 3, but in game, they had him sometimes with McDavid and Draisaitl on that top line. And he's also the net front player on one of the best power plays in the NHL while Zach Hyman is out. So this could be a fantastic stream. We'll see what happens with the even strength deployment. And then for some others, obviously you have Andrew Mangiapane, Matthew Savoie, Trent Frederick, who could be line 1 with Draisaitl and McDavid, but he didn't look good on there. And then guys like Howard and Henrique. With the Lightning, you have Oliver Bjorkstrand. Yes, he's third line even strength, but he is power play 1, so he's going to have value there. You also have Anthony Cirelli, top 6 power play 2. And then, yeah, there's not a lot of great options on Tampa, so I'll leave it at that. In terms of some other streaming strategies, this is going to be excluding the teams that I talked about, like the Mammoth or the Blackhawks. You're going to want to pick up those players for the entire week, or at least pick them up for most of the week. But for this, we just want to look at teams that you might want to pick up throughout the week to maximize your games. For example, players on the Vancouver Canucks. They have 4 games and 2 off nights, but those 2 off nights are on Friday and Sunday. So what you can do is pick those players up on Friday and drop them Monday of the next week. You don't have to pick them up for the entire week. Also, the Calgary Flames. They only have 3 games this week, but 2 of them are off nights. Those 2 off nights being Tuesday and Wednesday, back to back. So if you want to pick up a Flames guy to get those 2 games and maximize your points or fill your categories, that's a solid option as well. Then you also have some teams that play Tuesday and Friday, both of those being off nights, the Wild, the Lightning, and the Sharks. So that's an option as well. Moving on to the must-add players. Quickly, I'll say, make sure you follow my Twitter at fired-up-fantasy for a lot of up-to-date information, a lot of my takes on certain players and situations and things of that nature. And then also join the Discord community below. We're in there chatting, giving advice, and we're trying to build that as well. The link is in the description. In terms of forwards, we have a bunch here. I'm going to try to go a little bit more rapid fire because I do have Thanksgiving plans. So we're just going to read them off real quick. But we got Kirill Marchenko, Dylan Guenther. Like I said in my last video, these guys should not be 90-ish% roster. They should be higher. Potential league winners here, guys. Pavel Dorofeyev. Yes, some of what he's doing is unsustainable, right? Like 4 power play goals in 3 games, like a 40% shooting percentage. But he's line 2 with Hurdle on one of the best power plays in the NHL. Loves to shoot the puck. And even last night, they experimented with a Hurdle, Marner, Dorofeyev line. So, yeah, very promising stuff. He's one of my most drafted players this year. So, very excited, very happy about it. Mika Zibanejad, I know he only has 1 goal in 3 games, but he has looked really good out there. Line 1 with Panarin now with Trocheck out. Still power play 1. I think this is a no-brainer. Brad Marchand getting way more ice time than initially thought because of these Barkov and Kachuk injuries. Could be power play 1 all year. So, yeah, could be very solid. Arturi Lehkonen still line 1 power play 1. Cutter Gauthier. This guy is getting way more ice time than last year. Obviously a very small sample size, but extremely promising. And he is shooting the puck like crazy. That's what we've talked about on this channel in terms of his shot volume. That could be a game changer. He's a future 40 goal scorer in my opinion. And if he keeps getting this deployment, then the sky's the limit, guys. Very excited about Gauthier. I have him on all of my redraft teams right now. So I would suggest you pick him up and see what happens. Obviously, I don't love the power play 2 deployment, but I think you should get him power play 1 at some point if he keeps shooting the puck like this and keeps scoring goals. So yeah, I'm a big fan. Next, we have Alexi Lafreniere, line 1 power play 1, power play 1 with Vincent Trocheck out week to week. And guys, even if Vincent Trocheck returns, Alexi Lafreniere could stay on this top unit because they've talked about wanting to give him some top unit time. And listen, if he's line 1 power play 1 the entire season, his roster percentage is going to be way higher than 45%. So I think it's worth the upside. Good shots, good hits. He's in that breakout age, has a lot of potential. So yeah, I'm a big fan. Left wing, right wing eligibility. I could go on. Will Smith. Line 1 power play 1 with Celebrini. Plus minus may be an issue, but has some breakout potential. Looks pretty good out there. Just put up 3 points. Patrick Kane. I understand the plus minus might not be great, but I don't really understand the roster percentage. I've talked about this in the top 6 on a really good power play. Could put up 65 to 70 points. Brock Besser, line 1 power play 1. Brock Nelson. I know the production hasn't necessarily been there, but he's still on power play 1 and in the top 6 on one of the best power plays in the NHL. Loves to shoot the puck. Elite ice time, so we'll see what happens there. Owen Tippett. Not sure if Tippett is going to stay on power play 1, but he did score a goal in the power play last night, I believe. He's in the top 6, puts up elite peripherals. So yes, it depends on your league settings. Plus minus could be an issue. Boone Jenner in the top 6 on that second line with Fantilli and Kent Johnson. Also power play 1. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long he can stay healthy for, but really good deployment. Center left wing eligibility on Yahoo and elite peripherals. That's really his bread and butter, the shots, hits, and blocks. So I definitely think he's under rostered. Moving on to the next list, Matt Coronado, line 1 power play 1, scored 2 goals in last night's game. Looked really good out there. Very low roster percentage. Could be a big breakout. He's still in the Flames, so temper expectations, but love what I'm seeing right now. Andrei Kuzmenko, the peripherals suck, but he is line 1 power play 1, so he's going to be solid. We also have some Ducks players here. Chris Kreider, line 1 power play 1, 19% roster, just scored 2 goals. I know it was against the Sharks, but I talked about this guy being a sleeper. It just doesn't make too much sense in terms of his low roster percentage. He had a very down year last year, but with this deployment, things are looking good. We also have Troy Terry. Hasn't looked the best, to be honest, but he's had 2 assists. Deployment's been solid. Line 1 power play 1. We also have Elias Lindholm here. Yes, the production's been unsustainable, but he's stapled with David Pastrnak on that power play 1 as well. Really good peripheral, so I think his roster percentage is too low. Leo Carlson, line 1 power play 1, shooting the puck more, getting better ice time than last season. Last season, he only got like 16 minutes and 30 seconds, so very promising, very good young player, right? This guy's going to be one of, a top 40 pick in fantasy in like 2 years. So yeah, I would definitely take a look at him. Frank Nazar, line 2 power play 1 has been incredible. Still in the Blackhawks though, and we need to temper expectations, but yeah, I'm a big fan. I've talked about this. He could be a 60 to 65 point player. Very, very talented. Jake DeBrusk, line 1 power play 1. I understand he's not this elite player, but the deployment is there and the peripherals are there, and it's a pretty low roster percentage with good positional eligibility. We also have Zach Bolduc here. Even strength deployment has not been the best, being on line 3, but he is on power play 1 as the net front guy. We will see if that changes because obviously they have Demidov and Line A on power play 2. So I'm not rushing to pick him up, but he is pretty low rostered. He puts up good hits if your league counts those, and he's absolutely worth a look. For some more players here, we have Ryan O'Reilly. I know he's only a pure center, but 13% rostered for a line 1 power play 1 guy seems pretty low. We also have Jason Zucker. He's in the top 6. He's on line 1 right now because Benson's injured, but he was line 2 previously. He's currently power play 1 as well. He's a winger. He's 5% roster. It seems pretty good value. Vladimir Tarasenko, with Zuccarello out, he is currently on power play 1, a power play that should be top 5 in the NHL, or at least top 10, 4% rostered in the top 6 as well. This is a no-brainer. Then we have David Tomaszek of the Oilers, only 1% rostered. This guy's getting some looks with McDavid and Dry on the first line in game. I know it's Trent Frederick right now, but Frederick has looked terrible, so he could get a look, even strength. Obviously, this is only a short-term stream until Hyman comes back. This is only for a month. Want to make that crystal clear. And obviously, the main reason is that he's the net front player on this power play. So in a deeper league where it's hard to find value on the wire, a 1% rostered guy who could be line 1 power play 1 with McDavid and Draisaitl, it's pretty valuable. Then for the rest of the forwards here, Kyle Palmieri, line 2 power play 1, Pavel Zacha, line 2 power play 1, low Ross percentage players. We also have Barrett Hayden, who is injured, but I believe he's going to be line 1 with Keller. And based on the struggles that Cooley has had in the faceoff circle, they need Hayden on this first unit as a net front guy taking faceoffs. So I think he's going to be underrated. I think he's going to be a sleeper. Morgan Frost, line 2 power play 1. The deployment is there. Ryan McLeod, now on power play 1 with Josh Norris out long term. He's also in the top 6, centering that second line. Yuri Kulik, deeper league option, guys, but he is line 1 with Josh Norris out, centering that line with Tage. That has some value. We also have Alex Iafallo, only a stream, currently in the top 6 and on power play 1 because Cole Perfetti is out week to week. So while Perfetti is out, he's definitely worth a look in those deeper leagues. We also have Dawson Mercer. While Stefan Nason is out with an injury, I'm pretty sure he's going to return soon though. But while he's out, they have him in the top 6 and also power play 1 as that net front guy. So that's pretty good for the short term. Then we have Joel Farabee, again, very short term. Jonathan Huberdeau is currently out with an injury. Not sure how long he's going to be out for, but in his absence, Farabee is in the top 6 and also on power play 1. We also have a bonus player. I'll just mention Evander Kane, line 3 power play 1. That's solid deployment, puts up elite shots and hits, so it depends on your format. He could be amazing if he gets that deployment all season long, but he hasn't looked good in this power play. I don't know why he's on that top unit, to be honest. I think Jonathan Lekari-Mackey would be a much better option from that left side, but I still have to mention him because if they decide they want to keep him on there, you have a shots and hits monster getting power play deployment. So yeah, just a bonus player I wanted to mention. In terms of must-add defensemen, some of these guys are higher rostered like Luke Hughes and Morgan Riley and Aaron Ekblad, but the case for Luke Hughes is obvious. He's power play 1 now in the top 4 amongst defensemen, and he looks really good out there, so he should be close to 100% rostered. Riley has looked really, really good. Looks like a completely new player. Quarterbacking power play 1. Aaron Ekblad has been on power play 1. So, I'm not sure how long they're going to do this 2 defenseman power play, but it's worked out so far, and they did it in the playoffs last year when it mattered the most. So, yeah, I mean, if he's power play 1 all season long, this should be higher rostered. Zeev Bouillon, it seems like he's actually getting more minutes than I anticipated, guys. We'll see if this lasts, but yeah, he had 24 minutes last night. He was a -4 though, and that's the biggest knock on Bouillon. It's his defensive game, and that could lead to limited minutes, right? So very small sample size, but he's going to be quarterbacking that power play. Looks very good on there. A very, very good power play. And if he gets, 21 minutes a night even, he's going to be very good. So definitely worth a look. We also have Matthew Schaefer. Did not expect him to get on power play 1 so quickly, but in game last night, he got 26 minutes. He started getting power play 1 looks. He scored a goal. He had 8 shots or something. So yeah, this is a must-add defenseman. Tony DeAngelo did not look good out there last night. And yeah, I mean, he could end up being a very solid rookie defenseman. We also have Sam Renzel here. Again, I want to mention with some of these players like Bouillon and Renzel and Schaefer, plus minus could definitely be an issue. But Renzel has looked pretty solid. I know he's made some mistakes. He's definitely looked better than Levshunov, right? So I think he has his power play 1 spot on lock. A power play that should be solid. It was top 10 in the NHL last year. He's getting a lot of ice time. He's getting good peripherals. So at 38% rostered, this is way too low. With must-add goalies, some of these goalies I just think are too low rostered. Thatcher Demko, he's gone both games so far. He's looked really good, put on a monster performance against Edmonton last night. The Canucks defense, their defensive core is very solid. Joey Decord, I know the Kraken aren't the best team, but they've looked pretty solid so far. Their defensive core is very good. He's only 71% rostered. He's much better than Grubauer. Karel Melka, he is on a team that could push for the playoffs. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but they're going to be decent. They're going to be solid. He's only 68% rostered. He has no competition. He is their number 1 goalie. Could see a lot of volume in those points leagues as well. So definitely worth the look. I also want to say, look out for Jet Greaves, guys. I know he's splitting with Elvis right now, but him getting the first game is very telling. I think he's a better goalie in my opinion. So not a guy that you need to rush and pick him up off the wire, but a guy that you want to watch out for. In terms of some short-term streams, Scott Wedgwood until Mackenzie Blackwood returns, could be a couple of weeks. Alex Lyon, he is their starting goalie until Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen returns. You know, not the best in category leagues, I don't think, but could be getting that volume in those default points leagues. Freddie Anderson, Kochetkov is injured. He's out for at least a week, so he could be getting good volume. And then what I'll tell you guys to do is watch out for how the splits go. So watch out for Talbot and Gibson if one goalie is taking the reins. Watch out for Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner. That should be fun to watch. Yeah, watch out for those splits, and I will keep you guys updated on what's going on. Now, I might make a separate video on this, but I just wanted to fire off some players that I think are too high rostered, or just players in general that I have concerns about, deployment concerns. So I'll just fire them off here. Brandon Hagel, not power play 1. I expect regression. Shea Theodore, not power play 1. Dougie Hamilton, he's not power play 1. Luke Hughes seems to have taken that role, and that's going to severely limit Hamilton's upside. Jordan Kyrou, not power play 1. I talked about this concern all throughout the offseason here, and he'll be fine, but I just think he's just too high rostered with this deployment unless it changes. It could change, guys, right? I'm not saying that it's fixed, right? Matvei Michkov getting very limited ice time. You have talking about wanting him to play in north-south style. It's not good. Welcome back, John Tortorella, it appears. So we'll see. He still has all the talent in the world, but this deployment is not what we're looking for here. We also have Timo Meier. He's very solid, very good even strength player, but it doesn't look like he's going to get power play 1, guys. If he does, I'll eat my words and say, I made a mistake. But yeah, it's going to depend on your format, right? He has those shots and hits, but in those leagues without hits, he is going to be a little bit overvalued without this power play deployment. We also have Matt Duchene, not power play 1. JJ Peterka, not power play 1. Alexander Nikishin, I guess maybe a long-term play, but right now the deployment is not there. Carter Verhaeghe, not even power play 1 with Kachuk and Barkov out. That is astounding to me. So yeah, just really not a fan of Verhaeghe. I think there's better players on the wire. Yeah. Ivan Demidov could be good in the second half, but power play 2, line 3, not the greatest, guys. We also have Frank Vetrano. Wasn't a fan of him. And yeah, we've seen very limited ice time. Good news for a lot of those other Ducks players, though, right? Guys like Kreider and Carlson and Gauthier. That third line really not getting a lot of ice time, which I love. Big fan of it. So yeah, Vetrano is probably a drop in a lot of leagues. Brock Faber, he's not power play 1, so the value is limited. Also, Logan Stankoven, I just think is too high rostered. I don't understand the roster percentage. There's way better players lower roster than him. Tyler Seguin, same thing. Brant Burns, same thing. And Patrick Laine as well. Without power play 1 deployment, he's pretty toast. Also, some players I'm concerned about. Kent Johnson getting very limited even strength ice time. We'll see if that changes, but yeah, don't love it. Zane Parekh, listen, he could have a lot of upside in the future. Like if he ends up on power play 1 and ends up playing all the games, then yeah, he'll be good. But him getting scratched first game does not instill a lot of confidence. So we'll see what happens there. Logan Cooley. Listen, Logan Cooley is getting elite ice time right now. I think he's a fantastic player, a future superstar, but he has really struggled in the faceoff circle. And the coach has talked about wanting him to be on Keller's spot, or in Keller's spot, I should say, on power play 2. Hayden's going to be on there for the faceoff. So unless they take Nick Schmaltz, which I think they should, but all indicators suggest that they won't, he's going to be stuck in power play 2. So I have some concerns. I'm not telling you to drop him yet, but I just wanted to mention it, okay? Also, Gabriel Landeskog, not power play 1. The second line hasn't been great. Jimmy Snuggerud only got like 10 minutes last game. He's a rookie guy, so there's going to be ups and downs, but definitely concerning. And then 2 players that could have a down year are Sam Reinhart. I talked about this. Without Barkov, it does limit his upside. Tage Thompson, losing Josh Norris is tough. They have not looked good out there. I know they've had a bunch of injuries like Zach Benson and Michael Kesselring, and Owen Power, I believe, was injured. So I'm not throwing in the towel with Tage yet, but yeah, I have my concerns looking at their roster. Also, lastly, do not panic on Valeri Nichushkin just yet. I'm sure he's going to get back in line 1 at some point. I'm sure he's going to get back on power play 1. Also, Thomas Harley, I know he's been good, but not on power play 1. May have some owners concerned. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do think at some point he'll get back on power play 1, and we'll just have to see what happens. I'm sure I missed some players, but I just wanted to cover all the players that came to mind. Let me know in the comments below if there's any players I missed. But in terms of some other thoughts, again, I might go deeper into this in another video, out, but I love Nikolai Ehlers' ice time. I know he hasn't produced, but he's getting like 19 minutes in the 2 games that he's played in, so I love that. I love these Stars top guys getting amazing ice time, right? Look at Rupe Hintz getting 22 minutes last game. I know they went to overtime, but 19 minutes the first game as well. He averaged like 16 minutes and 30 seconds last year, so very promising stuff for Robo, Rupe Hintz, for Mikko Rantanen, and others. There's a lot more deployment stuff I want to talk about. A player like Dylan Guenther getting time on the penalty kill and getting like 19 to 20 minutes. We're going to have to see how things go. It's very early, very small sample size, but in a week or two, when we have a bigger sample size, we are going to break down exactly what's going on with deployment and which players are gaining value from it and which players are not. That's the end of the video though. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.